Welcome to Chapter 20: Convert Local Discoveries into Global Improvements by Group 6. We are going to discuss the following 7 points in this presentation.
Are used to facilitate fast communication within teams as well as triggering automation, which was pioneered in ChatOps at GitHub. Jesse Newell described the goal from his which is creating transparency so we can see how everything is done as if we are pair programming all the time. In addition to the listed benefits of automated chat rooms, people can help each other because we monitor the daily work and how it was performed. At GitHub, all operation staff worked remotely. No two engineers worked together. Integrating our automation into chat rooms helps document and share our observations and problem solving as inherent part of performing our work. Justin Arbuckle and his team used a mechanism called ArcOps to prevent problems associated with codifying our standards and process by transforming our Word documents into standards, and process encompasses the sum of our organizational learnings and knowledge into an executable form that makes them easier to reuse by putting it into a centralized source code repository, making the tool available for everyone to search and use. Shared source code repository is one of the most powerful mechanisms used to integrate local discoveries across the entire organization. The best example to explain this is Google. 2015, Google had signed a single shared source code repository with over 1 billion files and over 2 billion lines of code. Aaron Messari explains one of the advantages of using single repository is that it allows users to easily access all of the code in its most up-to-date form without the needed coordination. Randy Shoup describes the most powerful mechanisms for preventing failures at Google is a single code repository. Whenever someone checks in anything into the repo, it results in a new build, which always uses the latest version of everything. Tom Limoncelli, in his book, he states that the value of having a single repository for an entire organization is so powerful that it is difficult to even explain. At Google, every library, example libc, OpenSSL, as well as integratedly developed libraries such as Java threading libraries, has an owner who is responsible for ensuring that the library not only compiles, but also successfully passes the tests for all projects that depend on it, much like a real-world librarian.
A key part of this topic is that we need to have test-driven development practices, where automated tests are written before we write the code. Once we share libraries in the organization, it requires that we enable the propagation of expertise and improvements. Also, we need to work that the libraries have automated testing. This process produces that each of them becomes self-documenting and provides a guide of use. It is important that each library has a single owner or single team to support it, because the responsible for should manage everything related to safely migrating and detection of regression errors through automated testing. Concluding this topic, we can create discussion groups or chat rooms in the libraries to propagate faster the knowledge. We need to identify those non-functional requirements because this cause that the services can easy to deploy and keep running in production. It produces a fast detection error. Through the design of code and application, we could identify these non-functional requirements easily. When we gather these requirements, we allow that the new services receive collective knowledge and experience of the organization. Examples of non-functional requirements include ensuring that we have sufficient production telemetry in our application and environments, services that are resilient and degrade gracefully, among others. We need to be able to automate as much of work as possible, but there will be times when it is not possible. When it happens, we should make our recurring work as repeatable and deterministic as possible. Also, we should collectively define the handoff as clearly as possible to reduce lead times and errors. The purpose is to plan for the future. We can use tools like Rundeck or Jira. The use of user stories allow us better planning and more repeatable outcomes in development and operations. One way to achieve the organizational goals is to organize small service teams to build and run the service according to specific needs. But there are situations where the expertise for a critical service resides only in one team affecting the goals. List of technologies that ops support help us to find what infrastructure or services are generating a failure demand and unplanned work. It is key because we need to focus on infrastructure that best helps achieve the global goals of the organization. Our priority should be to identify the following technologies: impede or slow down the flow of work. Disproportionality creates high levels of unplanned work. Disproportionality creates large numbers of support requests and are most inconsistent with our desired architectural outcomes. There is one case study. It was Etsy. They used this topic in its services. They wanted to standardize and reduce the supported infrastructure and configurations. They decided to reduce the number of technologies used in production. After choosing what technologies would be taken out, they started the work. As a result, they achieved to improve their productivity and avoided operational problems.